Hey, this video is a quick market update, and it's a quick rant or my opinion on what's happening with San Francisco real estate, San Francisco Bay Area real estate, and the real estate market in general. It is on fire right now. Again, my name is Joe Polyak, local San Francisco Bay Area real estate agent with Rise Homes. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, this video is for you. I am doing another quick market update, real estate market update for the month of March 2021 for San Francisco and San Mateo counties in general, and the San Francisco Bay Area as a whole in general as well. So let's get started. So first things first, and this is probably the hottest topic on everybody's mind, is when is this bubble going to burst? When is the housing market going to crash? Of course, nobody can predict that. Nobody has a crystal ball. Even a broken clock is correct 2 times a day. So there are people who have been predicting a crash for 10 years, maybe 1/3 of the price of real estate ago, that a crash is coming any minute. So a lot of people have been talking about a potential crash. A lot of people have been predicting a crash. We don't know, and there's no way to really tell. But one thing that we do know is that housing prices have increased quite a bit, especially during the pandemic, and the housing market has been on fire. It has been white hot these last 3 months, especially, but definitely since the pandemic started in March of 2020, market has been really hot. So obviously a lot of people are thinking and searching and asking me, I'm getting a lot of questions on when do you think the market is going to crash and when do you think a correction is going to come? And the obvious and the most basic answer for me is I don't know. But generally it's supply and demand. So right now, supply for single family homes has been very, very low. We've seen a very low amount of supply, and you'll see that when I dive a little bit deeper into the data, but supply has been very, very low, and demand has been very, very high. This has been the case in the entire country, it seems like. Where I actually actively sell real estate and see it myself is in the San Francisco Bay Area. So why is demand so high in the San Francisco Bay Area? There's a couple of reasons. Number one is, of course, interest rates. So interest rates have been at record lows. They have jumped up just a little bit in the past month and a half, but they are still hovering around record lows. So I had a client who's able to get a 30-year fixed mortgage for $1 million plus loan amount. I think it was 1.1 million at 2.5% interest rate. And I believe right now they're hovering close to 2.75 or 3% for the same thing. It depends on the lender, depends on your credit score, and it depends your loan amount and a number of other things. But generally speaking, that is very, very, very aggressively low. Number 2 reason why demand is so high right now, at least for here, the Silicon Valley, I feel that the IPOs, all the recent rash of these unicorns, and today, as I'm making this video, Coinbase IPO just hit. A firm recently hit. There's a number of other IPOs that I mentioned in previous videos that have come out. An IPO, that's an initial public offering. That's when a private company goes public, and a unicorn means a $1 billion company at least, which used to be rare, hence why they called it a unicorn. But now it is not so rare. I think there was 30 or 40 unicorns, the IPOs that hit the stock market last year, and many of them have their headquarters and a big chunk of their employee base in the San Francisco Bay Area. So you have a lot of C-level executives and other executives and high-ranking employees and early employees that cashed out really big during these IPOs. When a company IPOs, I believe that there's usually a restricted time frame from when they're allowed to sell from when the company IPOs. But when on paper, you're instantly overnight when the company IPOs, now you're worth maybe $500,000, $600,000 to now your equity is worth millions, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, $50 million and up for some of these executives. Well, you have a lot of money that you can play around with. And so at least in the San Francisco Bay Area, I feel that that's increased the amount of demand for housing, for people buying their home. And I've seen that on a really huge scale here. We're seeing 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 offers on homes all around the San Francisco Bay Area, from places like Dublin and outside of the Bay Area like Sacramento, and in my market, Redwood Shores, San Francisco, South San Francisco. It's just really hot. And number 3 reason is due to the pandemic and due to the ability to work from home, a lot of people are opting to move to a different area. So for example, whereas a lot of the companies had their headquarters or had their offices in downtown San Francisco or south of Market neighborhoods in San Francisco, Francisco, and people had to settle for buying, maybe not settle, back then a lot of people wanted to, but they had to buy a 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo, loft-style condo, or condo in one of these buildings for over $1 million, with oftentimes over $600, if not even over $800 or $900 a month in HOA dues. That's a lot of money, over $1 million. Let me repeat that, over $1 million for a 1-bedroom condo with over $700, $600, $800 a month in HOA dues. Now, most of those people are able to work from home all the time, 5 days a week, no partial having to come in the office in the middle of a pandemic, and everything's still closed. A lot of those people decided, well, why would I do that? Why would I own this $1 million condo? Or why would I rent here for $4,000 a month for a 1-bedroom when I can go to the East Bay, when I can go to Hayward, San Leandro, Oakland, Santa Ramon with great schools, and Danville with good schools, and Walnut Creek and Concord with lower prices, where I can get a large house with a backyard, with all of the space for a fraction of the cost of what it costs to live in the city of San Francisco. And that caused this exodus that you're hearing about. And a lot of people moved to the peninsula and to San Mateo County and to the Mid-Peninsula with, again, good schools, high prices, but good schools, great community, because people said, well, why would I live in San Francisco? Because I don't have to commute anymore. So now we don't have to sacrifice some of the things that we sacrificed before in order to shorten our commute. Now we don't have a commute. So I think that that caused demand to really skyrocket. Now, my prediction, this is my personal prediction, and you can argue with me about this later. In fact, I welcome it in the comments, or just hit me up and let's talk. But my prediction is that what goes up must come down, and not necessarily prices, but with work from home culture, I think we've reached a peak. And I think, from what I'm hearing from a lot of engineers and a lot of my clients who work at Google, who work at Facebook, who work at a lot of these companies, startups, the work from home thing has been very, very, very hectic. It used to be, a typical small engineering team at Uber. A client of mine works at Uber and told me about this. He would have 3 to 4 hours of meetings per day max, and then have to do his work, and then have additional work, and actually after the meetings do things. Well, now he's having 7 or 8 hours of meetings per day and still having to do work. So a lot of these people are really overworked because of the additional meetings, that not having the in-person ability to create rapport or work together, or being able to see each other and communicate in person rather than virtually, it creates a lot of these inefficiencies, and it hampers the ability to keep maybe newer employees accountable. I believe that's going to cause a lot more companies to say, well, now it's going to be partial work from home, partial work from the office, or maybe now we are an office first culture. And you're hearing a lot of companies saying that no matter what. And I believe Netflix was one of the early ones to say we're office first culture no matter what. I don't know, I haven't checked where they still stand with this, but Reed Hastings specifically said this is not going to work. It's office first. As soon as we're able to, we're coming straight back to the office. So a lot of companies have that feeling, and it is psychology. It's proven psychologically. People need human interaction, and to be able to build rapport with their team, to be able to create a good team. Now, I have a lot of people in my network who are just yelling at this camera and are like, shut up, Joe. You don't know what we're talking about. I've been working remote for years, and this is the best thing. Remote work, everybody should be remote. I'm sorry to say, not everyone has that ability. I, for one, need social interaction. I'm a very social person. Hence why I'm a real estate agent, salesperson, work with people. Not being able to communicate with my team, with clients, with these people in person. Remote and virtual is fine. We have to do it. We had to make these sacrifices. But we suffer. A lot of us gregarious folks or extroverts, we really suffer from not being around people, and a lot of people are that way. So anyways, that's a really long rant, but my feeling and my prediction is that the offices are going to open back up and people are going to be required to come back, and I think that that is going to change the cycle up from the demand being in these other areas, Austin, Texas, and all of these lower priced areas, and it will come back to the city centers. Once again, it always does. Everything's cyclical, so I believe that that's what's going to happen. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, my name is Joe Polyak with Rise Homes, local San Francisco Bay Area real estate agent. If you want to reach me, if you have any questions, please feel free to call me or text me. My phone number is 415-595-2647. My email address is joe@homesbyrise.com.